SimWorld Sports.
Welcome back, SimWorld fans. We have another game on tap for you tonight. Should be a good one. New York and West Coast just tipping things off here, and they're doing so in Los Angeles, SimWorld Athletic Center West Court. And this is where these two teams locked up earlier this year. West Coast defeating New York 80-78. And here, New York gets out to a quick three-point lead, hit the first shot. I'm Elava, joined in the broadcast booth by Marsh, with our producer Roniel here as well.
What's up, E?
Hey, I'm just hoping for a little bit closer contest in this one than what we had in our first one. Houston defeating Africa Select 81-64.
Yeah, I think we should. I mean, this is one of the few games where it's nothing at stake in terms of a tournament seeding or whatnot, but it's got so much intrigue because of the two-guard matchup that we get with Shea King and Lacedarius Outlaw.
Well, New York 18-4 on the season, but one of their earlier losses, as I mentioned, was on this court to West Coast. West Coast is just 9-7, but they did win that Stars of Tomorrow tournament where they knocked off New York in the semifinals to get to the championship game, defeating Chicago there. And the man you see at the free throw stripe right now missed that first one, but in their earlier meeting, Jay Ingram, 16-point, 15-rebound performance, outshining both Stephen Johnson Odom and Chance Milton Jones of New York down low, and a big part of the reason why they held on to win that game.
Well, I think that first matchup, you look at the box score, Chance Milton Jones, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 2 of 3 shooting. That was before Chance Milton Jones became what he has. I mean, at the time, he was being recruited to go, and he ends up signing with Richmond. That's not a team that you would expect out of a top 5 recruit in the nation. That was before he kind of was unleashed by head coach Tim Velarde. This is not the same New York team from earlier in the year. That is for sure.
Shea King pulls up for the jumper there, but can't hit. At the other end of the court, it was a nice pass from Ingram to find an open teammate in the corner for a bucket. Can't get that little turnaround to go there, however. It's kind of Shea King versus Jay Ingram opening minute of this game. New York wearing their black uniforms with the red trim, and West Coast in the red. And oh, there's a nice drive. Too easy. Bucket. Edge.
It's kind of amazing. We've seen this with D. Woodley, who has played, exceptionally well recently, and really all season, but he's just kind of fallen out of the spotlight. The same could be said of Lacedarius Outlaw. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I had considered Outlaw to be the best player in SimWorld high school hoops in general, let alone
regardless
the junior
of class. Okay.
Yeah, and he is the #1 recruit in the junior class, but at the time, he had an argument at being the best player. I mean, he was offensively so superior. He hasn't been the same. I mean, he's still averaging 19.6 a game, 49% shooting from the floor, but he just hasn't been that same explosive, dominant version that we saw to begin the year.
Montel Cage has it, but loses it up top. Edge steals it away. Drives on 2 defenders and gets the bucket to go. That's nice body control, nice finish from Edge. G League bound, averaging 12.6 points per game.
And it's going to be really important for Edge to get going tonight. I mean, there's so many options on this New York squad, as we've talked about. But I think when they are a different team is when Jai Edge is an offensive force. He averages 12.6 a game, but 49.3% from deep. If he can get going offensively, I think this takes New York from a very difficult to beat team to an almost unbeatable team.
Well, they're out to a nice start here, and there's a block. Chance Milton Jones comes up with it. Just scored in transition. Pulls up here, however, gives it to King.
Eric, who we ask, Chance Milton Jones, is he a top 5 guy in this class? I mean, he's a good basketball player, but is he a top 5 guy?
Well, he is currently the 5th. He is currently the 5th-ranked senior. He is currently the 5th-ranked senior in this country.
I don't care what he currently is. I'm saying, is he that good? I mean, he has a great defensive play. I'm not saying he's not a top 15, maybe top 10 guy, but is he number 5 in the class?
I mean, boy, I'd have to really think about that one. My guess is maybe not, but look, what I can say on the positive side about Chance Milton-Jones is he kicks it out there, looks for an assist from Raheem Dandridge, can't get the shot to go, however. Milton Jones, he's averaging 9.9 a game, points anyway. So almost averaging a double-double, as he averages 10.5 rebounds as well. Good shot blocker. And by the way, these stats he's putting up, as you were alluding to earlier, he wasn't even a starter for this team until about halfway through the season. And you're talking about somebody who's probably, his strongest attribute is his defense. And yet, oh, nice steal there. Possible, putting up double digits for a really talented New York team, and doing so shooting 71% from the field. So
because he's a lob catcher. I mean, 39 blocks, or 39 dunks. I mean, look, I'm not saying that Chance Milton-Jones isn't really good, but what he gives me vibes of is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. This uber athletic, versatile defender, vertical threat, but his game isn't quite as developed. I mean, 71%, yeah, that's great, but hasn't hit 3 all season, and we just saw him chuck one up in the corner and miss. I just wonder. I know we're early in the game. I just wonder.
It'll be interesting to see, I think, what CMJ does at the college level. A future
He's going to
Richmond
dominate
Spider.
at the college level, by the way. Yeah, 8-10 is not going to be a challenge for him. He's going to look great at Richmond. He should.
Well, he's also going to. Well, he should also be the focus of that offense. And
Exactly.
Again, I talked up that above 70% shooting percentage, but not a very kind of refined or polished or skilled offensive game necessarily is something that Milton Jones has developed yet. So, hopefully down there in Virginia, they'll be able to coach up that side of him. And look, if you can get his offense to be 75-80% of what he brings on defense out there, I definitely think you're looking at a future pro player, just given how solid he is at 6'8", 220.
And I think, I know I'm kind of playing both sides of the argument, but I think going to Richmond is a great feature for him because, as you said, he's going to be the offensive weapon. He's going to be the defensive, as a good take there. He's going to be the #1 priority for opposing defenses, which from a development standpoint, I think is massively important for a guy of his skill set. It's not going to Kentucky where you can hide him among all these other stars and he doesn't get exposed. He's the spotlight. He is it. And I think this will be an interesting case. D. Woodley falls into that same category where you're playing where there's nothing else around you, so you have to do a lot more. And, as you get to the NBA level, we've seen good basketball players, good NBA players are often great in college because they are able to establish and develop a specific skill set. He's going to have a chance to do that.
Well, Chance Milton-Jones and friends are out to a pretty hot start here, although Lene Newman, 6'8" junior out of Salem, Oregon, gathers up that rebound, stuffs it back through. 4-point advantage, though, still for New York, and they've got some subs out there, although Chance Milton-Jones still in the game, and New York, Coach Tim Belardi definitely plays. Oh, nice offensive rebound up and in there. But Chance Milton-Jones and Stephen Johnson-Odom play heavy minutes for this New York team, which is not laden with big players. Oh, and Lene Newman, that is 2 buckets now for him, back-to-back.
Is that Lene or is that Jay Ingram? Is that a 41 or an 11?
I believe that's number 11. I've been calling it Lene Newman, so hopefully I haven't been.
Research on that there, Ronyo.
Oh, nice rebound, Milton Jones up and in. Great size, takes advantage of it there. Minute 30 left, and New York with a 6-point lead. Timeout being called by West Coast. Their coach Aaron Murray wants to talk it over.
I think that's Jay Ingram. I don't see.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe you were right. All right, I maybe perhaps misidentified. Well, let's go to the tape. We'll take a little break while they got a break on the floor here too. We'll determine if that was Newman or Ingram when we come back. 17-11, New York ahead early. And we're back. 6-point New York lead, but surprisingly, they've come out gunning from 3-point range. They've only hit 1 of 8 they've taken so far. Also surprisingly, the 2 star players in this matchup, Shea King has 2 points, and Darius Outlaw yet to get on the board for West Coast.
Yeah, just 1 shot. They've been going, what you do like from both sides is they're not force feeding, and New York ran it. Well, really both sides. West Coast has 4 ranks. Both teams have 4 guys ranked in their starting 5, but they're not forcing the ball to either of King or Outlaw. They're creating offense. We've seen a really good start from Milton Jones. We've seen a really good start from Jay Ingram, scoring 7 points. Credit to both sides on saying we're going to see what the game plan allows us to come up with that at this point.
Milton Jones snags another rebound there. Coming up on a minute to play first quarter. Oh, and on the drive, Terrell Coulter can't get his shot to go, however. The other way. Jay Ingram. Driving on a small defender. Oh, nice pass. Now his teammate Dawson Speaks right there, and Speaks lays it in.
That is a savvy play from Ingram and what you want to see from your big. He had a great, oh my goodness.
Chance Milton Jones. Yep. Nice feed from Elijah Burrell, but nice finish from CMJ. Lead back to 6, coming up on 30 seconds to play here.
Good job by by Ingram to not try to force his way into being the attacker there.
Arius player. 6'4" senior out of Modesto, California. Strong move there. Player, California's Mr. Basketball, is going to Wisconsin next year for college, but New York has the answer. It's the 6-point lead back. Final seconds now, first quarter, and last shot to be attempted by West Coast, I presume. There has it out top. Working on Boo Boo Morgan. Nice spin to the rack and puts it in. Darius Player was ranked. He had a 38-point game last year. Has just kind of fallen off the radar a little bit, but showing off the skill set there. Draws West Coast to within 4, end of 1. We're going to step away for a moment, run a few quick commercial messages, but when we come back, more action coming up from Los Angeles between New York and West Coast.
Welcome home!
Mom, Dad, this is Cindy.
Cindy, yes!
So nice to meet both of you.
It's nice to meet you finally. Travis has told us so much about you.
All good things, I hope.
Yes, of course.
Good.
Please,
Thank
welcome.
you.
Oh, Mom, no.
Dad, this is Shannon.
Oh, hi.
Shannon?
And this is Aaron.
Hey, cutie.
That is Jessica. Jenny, Sarah, Megan,
Hi.
Nicole, Elizabeth.
Acts. Use in moderation.
And we're back. Sunny Southern California, SimWorld Athletic Center West, where New York and West Coast are squaring off. Quiet first quarter from the big stars, Darius Outlaw and Shea King, but pretty good basketball action out there. In New York, early 4-point lead. It's actually been a battle of the big men. Jay Ingram leading the way for West Coast, and Chance Milton Jones for New York. Now, let me ask you a question, Marsh, which is, Stephen Johnson Odom was really the first player for New York to, kind of come out of nowhere, climb up the rankings, but I kind of feel like for several weeks now, he's been a little bit quiet too. Do you feel like his stock has gone down any as CMJ's has risen up, as he gets a nice swat right there to make me look foolish? But but in general, my point holds, I believe, where since the sort of too-big lineup was instituted by Coach Velarde, I don't feel that SJO has been the same factor that he was earlier in the season, and another nice bucket for CMJ there.
I think that his production, as you said, it's difficult to put up big numbers. I think the fact that he's putting up 10.3 a game, and he's shooting 33% from deep, is a testament to the fact that they have so many weapons. You know, it's I'm not comparing New York to prime Golden State, but the fact that guys were still putting up for Golden State good numbers despite there being, Kevin Durant being added to that group, I think it's more of a positive for SJF. That being said, I do wonder, as we already talked about with CMJ, there does feel as if there's a lot of bigs in the top 10 that are good, but are they top 10 players? I'm not sure. But, he's still a talented biggie. He brings a lot of skill sets to the table that you would look for.
Well, the battle of the big bias rages on SimWorld Discord. Want to remind you, if you're not actively involved, to please come join us there on SimWorld NBA and get involved in the discussion. Let us know where you think these players should be ranked. And Boo Boo Morgan, 6-foot senior from Manhattan, product of Christ the King High School, makes and takes his first free throw there. Probably a good foul taken by Jay Ingram to send him to the line, as he had a free look at a layup, make him earn it. But with this next attempt, can move New York out to an 8-point lead, which would be their biggest of the game. And Boo Boo gets it done.
I wonder about West Coast Select. We look at, this year, and then of course you have to look ahead in some capacities. I wonder if West Coast has the capability to be as good as New York is this year, next season, as Outlaw Berries or 3. You got 3 guys ranked in the top 25 right now. And you're starting 5, they're all juniors. Including Outlaw, who you could make the argument might be the best player on the court right now.
Well, looked good there on that 3, but that's right, only 3 juniors on the West Coast roster, but all of them ranked, all of them highly ranked and highly regarded. Backcourt of Montel Cage and Lace Darius Outlaw, and the forward, 6'8" junior out of Salem, Oregon, Renee Newman. Newman averaging a little bit more than 8 points and 8 rebounds a game already. This junior year. Another 3 on the way. That one won't go, but a nice rebound. And that was Newman.
We're just weeks away from the regional championships and then on to the national tournament. West Coast has a big duo in Newman and Ingram that I think has the capability to really carry them come tournament time.
Oh, nice. Flip up and in. And the lead is down. It's a 1-possession game again. West Coast falling behind by 8, but very quickly back into this. And, high off the glass, won't go. Chance to cut it even closer. Cage comes out of there with it. Ahead to Outlaw. Couldn't get the shot down.
It's not a great shot there. Early in the shot clock, a great finish there by Milton Jones.
Well, fantastic setup, too, from Jai Edge to get it to him. Milton Jones having a big game already. We're not even halfway through the second quarter yet. There you see Outlaw. Just pass it over to Cage.
Oh, there he is.
Back out on top of the key, open for a 3, and splashes
bucket. Calling that a 2. I've seen a lot of this. I know that SimWorld transitioned from the high school to the NBA 3-point line, but I've seen a lot of guys shooting threes with foot on the line. A lot of those shots this season, that one included.
Lace Darius Outlaw has been good with his outside shooting, but he hasn't quite been on the Trey Turner, Anthony Young level this season. 32% beyond that NBA 3-point arc and 49% from the field overall. Is averaging 19.6 points a game, as you mentioned earlier, Marsh, to go with 2.7 rebounds and almost 3 assists.
If he figures out that perimeter shot, he's dangerous. I mean, you had, let's get him to 37%, let's say, which is still not elite, but that's now 23, 24 points per game.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a huge difference because he is, at 6'1", he's got size to be able to, probably end up being either a small 2 or just a big 1 at the next level. It's a scary proposition of what his future looks like.
Are you calling him the next Cooper Kingy Cross?
think he's got the capability to be that type of
Okay.
player. I mean, I do think, not to spoil any future columns, I think the hype on Kingy Cross is warranted. We see a great dunk there by Johnson Odom. It's warranted, but I wonder about, are we overvaluing extremely high usage that gets him to that to the scoring numbers?
Intriguing. I will be keeping an eye on the Discord for that article to come out, most certainly. Mysterious Outlaw happened to work with the clock running out here. Gets it out. Shot does not go. Yuri Dobbins unable to get it to fall. The Hawaiian on this West Coast team. And at the other end, that is a deep three from Che King, but he continues to be relatively anonymous in this game so far. Oh, that's a nice dish.
And Che King is not dissimilar to Outlaw. Only shooting 33% from deep. He profiled and came in as the #1 ranked guy, or was he number 2? He might have been number 2 behind Jalen Snow to begin the season.
I think he was 2 at the start of the year. That's right. Yep.
But the same type of thing, he's if you can get a good jumper out of him. He's 6'1". Now, granted, he's a year older, so he's probably closer to final form. But my goodness, that's a scary point guard, especially with his playmaking ability, 3.3 assists.
Ooh, Ace Darius going to try a speculative three as well. Can't get it to go, but second chance opportunity for West Coast. And, nice pass from Cage. Finds an open teammate underneath, and we are back to a one-possession game again. 2:30 to go here in this first half.
That was Steph Curry like off-ball movement. You miss, good offensive board, but you don't just sit and then let you don't just sit and wait for Montel Cage to make a play. You move, you get a screen. I think that was from Newman. If it wasn't Newman, it was Ingram. You get off-ball movement. You never settle for that being the end of the possession, and your job is over. Your job is not done. That's great movement.
Well, a few chances for West Coast once they cut this lead down to 3, but they've not been able to take advantage so far. Jerry Dobbins, however, drives, scores, one-point game. He thought he got fouled on that as well, but Jerry Dobbins, relatively quiet, averages less than a point, a rebound, and an assist per game for this West Coast team, but 6'4" senior out of Honolulu gets the job done right there.
He's a
game.
Cal commit, right?
I believe that is correct. Dobbins is going to take his talents to the University of California, Berkeley next year, and play for Cal. I mean, he has good size, certainly, 6'4", right. 205-pounder, just fairly limited minutes on a very guard and wing heavy West Coast team, and particularly some talented players. I mean, we haven't even really talked much about tonight. Eric Stanley, the captain, the Alaskan, 6'5", 200-pounder. Raphael McNeil, averaging almost 4 a game, 6'3", 190. It's just hard to get minutes, sort of at that 3 spot.
Yep.
Oh, it is.
I mean, it goes on a lesser scale, but we were talking about with Milton Jones, where you go to a spot where you can be a more featured option, gives you a chance to be much more productive as a basketball player, at least counting-wise, and certainly stats matter it proves your worth on the court, but obviously the game goes beyond it sometimes.
Ooh. Well, there, Che King gets a 3 to go.
If that shot's falling, New York is unbeatable.
If King can continue to do that while Chance Milton-Jones continues his strong game underneath, yes, I would agree. There would be a tough out for anybody, maybe even some college teams.
The amazing part about New York is that, nice three there.
Splash from Montel Cage, by the way, barely shooting 30% this year himself, but looked good on that one. Go ahead, though, Marsh, take it away.
There's just so many times, there's so many cards that you can play for New York that you say they're unbeatable if insert. If SJO and CMJ are going off, if Che King is hitting threes, that's what makes them 18-4, because they have so many cards they play that says, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh. They just throw the blue-eyed white dragon and it's game over. They have a lot of blue-eyed white dragon sitting in their deck.
And everybody, we also just learned that Marsh is a Yu-Gi-Oh player, not Magic the Gathering. He prefers Yu-Gi-Oh.
They had the TV show back when I was growing up. So
Hey, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with Magic the Gathering too. It's all good. No judgment, no nothing here.
They had
Oh!
we had no. We'll get to halftime, but I'll wait for that one for the second half. I don't want to rush a good
Well,
story.
with that putback bucket, West Coast has come all the way back here. They were down by as much as 9 earlier. They now have the lead. Oh, SJO giving Chance Milton Jones a little breather on the bench right now, and he takes over big man duties, gives New York the lead back 5.8. West Coast to play with as Cage brings it up. He's going to get a good look at it. His three won't go, however. 1 point lead for New York. Halftime break coming up. Come back, second half action when we return. And we're back. Good one here from LA, just like it was in the first edition between New York and West Coast. 1 point New York lead right now. West Coast had battled all the way back to take a brief advantage themselves. And kind of the amazing thing here, I mean, we've already talked about the relative struggles of Lacerius Outlaw and Che King, but neither team able to shoot from outside, at least so far. New York has only connected on 2 of 15 3-pointers, and for West Coast, 2 of 10 beyond the stripe in the first half.
It's the benefit for both sides is that nobody can shoot a three. It's very much like last night's Golden State is on cue, of course.
That's how they do it. They listen. They're waiting.
But that was, the Golden State Memphis game from last night. No one could hit a three, but no one, you can't walk away from that game if you're Memphis and saying, oh, if we hit some threes, we win that game, because Golden State's saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
If we hit some threes, we win by 30 again. So we've got the same thing here. You can't really credit, your win or your loss at this point to a lack of three-point shooting when no one's doing it.
Well, another three miss there by New York, but that was a great rebound and tap in by SJO. Locks us up here at 40, early third quarter. Oh, looking shot from Eric Stanley, who can really hit from outside. A 54% three-point shooter on the year, but didn't get that one to go. Quick shot by King, and he continues to struggle, but New York continues to get second chances. That one from CMJ wouldn't go down, however.
That'll be a point of emphasis if I'm West Coast, is CMJ has been way too active. We haven't actually called a lot of SJO as a rebounder. We've called a ton of CMJ. He's done a phenomenal job in the paint. They'll need to try to neutralize him because he's getting them a lot of extra possessions.
Well, there you do see a nice block by Johnson Odom on that possession there, shown on replay. Johnson Odom going to Penn State, taking his talents there, along with DeLeon Dixon. As Penn State puts together a good class, should be competitive in the Big Ten, and another outside shot taken and another one missed.
I would argue that the decision by SJO to go to Penn State, where you're getting the same limited personnel, so more opportunity to shine, but you're going to be doing it against Big Ten talent. And I think that's probably a little bit better, obviously, than Atlantic 10 talent compared to what CMJ's headed off to.
Well, I have also wondered, and maybe at some point we can directly put the question to Coach Tim Belardi of New York. Belardi himself is a Penn State product. He formerly was a coach at Penn State Altoona in lacrosse before he got involved in basketball. Have to wonder if that exposure to the Penn State system can influence him to push SJO in that direction.
Are you saying there was some nefarious activities behind the scenes?
I don't think there'd be anything improper about it.
That's what you are implying. Is that what I think that's what
I don't
you're
think
implying.
there would be anything improper about it at all.
Take a
But
break. Take a break.
That
Coach
just sounds like a
Belardi,
recruiting violation that
there
you're
is
trying to...
a Nittany Lion
Parental
thread that goes through Tim Belardi, and it may have pulled SJO in. And if you are a Penn State alumni or fan, well, you have to be pretty happy about that. Stephen Johnson Odom, the captain of the New York team, currently the 8th-ranked senior in the country, although hotly disputed in some quarters.
Well, I think the thing about Penn State and what we've seen now with the introduction of the NIL is that there's just so many more options, so that more of these schools that you would traditionally not consider to be a potential landing spot for a top recruit are a potential landing spot. And I think as we saw that Brian Vaughn take the ill-fated route where he accepted funds, and I know we'll get to more on him in a bit, but it seems like it's a bigger pool that we didn't previously have for recruits.
Oh, well, we have a timeout on the floor, actually, Marsh. Why don't we go ahead and get into that? Talk a little bit about Brian Vaughn, the situation going on there. I think most people are familiar with the backstory of potential improprieties, which NCAA decided he was ineligible for, but some more controversy recently, yes?
Well, he did get the announced today 2-game suspension for the altercation that he had with Lorenzo Phenom on Monday night. So he will miss tomorrow's game for Mountain West Select. So that's a tough loss, but I do think that we need to take a quick break here.
Oh, all right. Well, while we have a timeout on the floor, let's take a quick break. New York up 5:30 to go in the third quarter when we return. We got a good one here in Los Angeles, New York, looking to get a little measure of revenge on West Coast for knocking them out of the Stars of Tomorrow tournament earlier this year, right here on this very same floor. Possessing a 5-point lead right now is West Coast ball. Stanley driving inside. Running out of time. Oh, nice dish from Stanley. Oh, my. Some pretty passing. I think that was Newman that finished that off underneath there. Some subs in the game for New York. Boo Boo Morgan out there on the court. A.O. Wilson, senior out of Staten Island, set up in the corner as well. Shot clock running down, however.
Oh, wow.
SJO has to take it himself, but can't quite get it to go down. At the other end, Jay Ingram, that is strong, and that is around CMJ as well. 1-point game.
The lack of the basket on the other end. SJO flashed a little bit of on-ball creation to get to the rack there. Oh, here we go. Oh, I thought that could have been a lot more dangerous than just a simple layup.
It all counts for 2 points either way. CMJ 14 in this one so far, as he and Jay Ingram of West Coast continue to battle back and forth in a tight game here in LA. Oh, the step back from Darius Player. Signature move from him, but he couldn't get that to go.
One question I have from CMJ is 14 points, all of which are coming in the paint. So obviously 71% shooters because he is an interior shooter, obviously. But you know, you try to think next level. You know, how can you game plan against New York in the tournament? You know, the ability to try to shut off his pick and roll lanes to the hoop should be a priority for any team going up against New York.
SJO able to disrupt that pass there, and it's going to end up with Outlaw taking a tough shot that rattles off the rim, won't go down. CMJ cleans it up. Oh, and he finds a teammate in the corner. But the three does not go from New York there.
That's a surprising miss from Jayaj. 49% shooter and a great finish inside from Ingram.
Boo Morgan fouled him, sends him to the line. Chance for a 3-point play, chance to tie this up. Edge is down to the 14th ranked senior in the country now. He had been higher than that. Is still averaging 12.6 points a game, second on this team. But has gone off the boil a little bit the back half of this season. Struggled in the McDonald's All-America game as well.
And I think it again goes back to that point of there's just so many mouths to feed. So that I think the important number when you're looking at these guys is not how many points do they score, but are they continuing to be consistent scorers if you're looking offensively, or fitting into their rhythm, and a great in-rhythm pull-up J from Outlaw. 49% shooter, I'm going to be comfortable with whatever Jayaj does at the second level, just based purely off of that.
Well, Outlaw gives West Coast the lead again. We see A.O. Wilson come off the curl and drive to the rack and stuff it home. 5'10" senior. That looked like a jaw jam there. Ja Morant-esque driving to the hoop and stuffing it in. Wilson only averaging 3.8 a game, but looked aggressive, looked good there.
Well, hey, stop me if you've heard this before, but if they get A.O. Wilson going, they are tough.
This is the problem with New York. You alluded to it earlier. Their second five. I mean, there are people we have not talked about yet in this game. We haven't really talked about Keontae Dior. We haven't really talked about Elijah Burrell. We haven't talked about Raheem Dandridge. All of these players, high level, being recruited by good programs, and, if an Edge or a King was to step away from the squad through injury or through whatever reason, maybe more so than any other SimWorld team I can think of out there, I think they'd be prepared to have somebody step in, pick up some of that slack, even as good as Che King and Jayaj are.
It's a deep team, and I think that's why West Coast Select is considered a tough out, because they're maybe not as deep, but they do have quite a bit of high-end talent. But it's we've seen New York against Washington where they lost, but it was like you almost consider it an upset just because how talented this team is.
Only 3 juniors on each of these teams. For West Coast, all 3 of those juniors are ranked. Oh, another nice move from Wilson.
And it's such a downhill attack. I mean, Wilson scored, what, five straight points now for New
Yeah,
York?
in the last, like, 20 seconds.
And it flips. West Coast went up 49-47, and it's just a 7-0 run in a heartbeat, and you're back down by 5.
A.O. Wilson, Staten Island, leading the way. 5-point advantage, New York. A little bit more than a minute to play in the third quarter. Timeout on the court. We're going to take a quick break, too. When we come back, we'll finish this up and get on to the last period of action from Los Angeles.
Again on the track.
5-point advantage for New York. 1:17 to go in the third quarter. Been a pretty good game so far, I think, Marsh. I think it's been what we expected, with the exception of the fact that neither Lace Darius Outlaw or Che King have broken into double digits scoring in this game yet, and King is actually having a rough night, just 2 for 10 from the field, 5 points, currently more than 17 points off his scoring average.
Well, Outlaw does have 11, so he's shooting 5.
He got 11. Oh, okay, that last bucket, you're right.
Yeah, so he's 5 of 11 coming in, last 9 minutes of the game. But you're right. We came in, we hyped this up. This is 2 of the best guards in the league. Instead, we've gotten 2 of the best bigs in the league. Jay Ingram, Chance Milton-Jones as a triple there from Lace Darius Outlaw on cue. But yeah, this has been great. I would say that this game has felt more in control of New York. New York feels as if they build a 5-point lead. West Coast comes back to tie it, maybe take a 1-point lead, and then New York answers, gets it back to 5. And so despite it being close, as the 3 is answered by Edge, or was that King rather?
That was King. Took 2 shots on that possession, but got 1 of them to go, so he's now 3 for 12. 1 was a 3, however, that 5-point lead restored.
Ooh, good moves.
Great move, but the shot isn't quite there. Quickly up the other way, New York. How did King get back down the court that fast? Was he just cherry picking? Did he not come down?
Well, he got beat by Outlaw on that 3, so he was just sitting in the other end.
Just waiting. Well, couldn't convert on it. Seconds now running out. There was a slight difference between game clock and shot clock.
Dangerous double to leave Outlaw.
Oof. He steps right around it, but he can't get the shot to go, and CMJ pulls down the rebound. New York is going to get a chance here. Rell's going to take the shot, won't go. Rebound skied for, pulled down. West Coast, that will end the third quarter. New York, 5-point lead. Not the traditional New York team we've seen and expected tonight, but they got a lead over a talented West Coast team as we go to the fourth quarter.
Piano on the track.
8 minutes left in this one. Has been a good battle. West Coast defending their California turf against New York, looking to avenge their loss to this West Coast squad earlier in the year. Been a battle all the way. We expect it to end that way too. A King turnaround won't go. Cage brings it up. CMJ comes over on the double team. We'll get out of the corner, however. West Coast. Oh, that is advantage. Jay Ingram right there. And he takes advantage of it. Timeout for New York. Coach Bellardi did not like that switch he saw there. Way too easy. The big man out of Santa Rosa, California. 6'9", 220-pounder. Taking his talents to Tobacco Road. He will be a North Carolina Tar Heel next year, Jay Ingram, along with Bryson Summers and Bam Wallace. Loading up again in the ACC.
And I think with Jay Ingram, I think we we owe credibility to our argument that maybe CMJ and SJO are ranked too highly when we say Jay Ingram is putting up almost identical numbers to the two of them. So, you know, SJO and CMJ are both higher percentage shooters inside compared to Ingram's 58%, but counting stats, 10.3, 9.5, 1.2 blocks, they aren't drastically better than either of those two, but it feels as if Ingram at 18 makes more sense than CMJ and SJL at 6, or excuse me, at 5 and 8 respectively. Raniel, you got any thoughts on that?
You got a separate opinion, or you got some sideline reporting for us, Raniel?
You know, I have an opinion on it. Get all of those guys out of that tight end. Unless they have a dream shake or a dream hook or they are leading the league, get them out of my top 10. I do love the big man, but you're going to have to show me some post work. And I mean post footwork to be in my top 10. Great kids, but there are some guys out there that know how to get a bucket in today's game. You got to be able to get a bucket. We're watching proof of that in game one of our telecast today, and we're going to see more proof of that down the stretch here.
Good finish from Ingram.
Yep, this guy up to get that rebound, put it back up in, and once again, we have a 1-point game on our hands, and oh boy, back and forth, the big men are going at it. Chance Milton-Jones, 16 now, and he's going to head to the line. Oh no, was that just a timeout called? I thought there was a foul call there.
No, that was a timeout.
Okay, just a timeout. Well, they're stepping away. We're going to take a quick break too. 3-point advantage, New York. 6:45 left in this game.
Piano on the track. Piano on the track.
And we're back. A 3-point New York lead. They've held the lead for most of this game, but it's also been really close. Back and forth action. Two talented teams. The result we expected, I think.
Yeah, it kind of started with New York got off to an early start. I think they got up by 5 or 6 or 8 or something like that very early in the first quarter, and I think that's basically been the difference. And I think in games like this where the two teams are evenly matched, it's small runs that make all the difference at the end of the game. Where you don't think, okay, we're down 9-2 early on, that we got 4 quarters to make that up. But you are so evenly matched that now you have to find a +7 stretch in a basketball game in which, for the most part, everyone's been basically doing +3, +4s at any given time. So it's difficult.
There is another bucket for the star man for West Coast in this game, Jay Ingram. He is the leading scorer, leading rebounder, and leading assist man for West Coast tonight.
So we've seen, and I think these final couple minutes are going to be a big part of that, as Shea King buries a 3.
Jay King has had a terrible night. There's no sugarcoating it, but it's that 3 right there. Extends the lead back to 4. Big for New York.
I think that we're going to see bigs have traditionally in the game of basketball, not tonight, it's difficult for them to be the ones that make plays down the stretch with the ball. So as we've seen dominance from both Ingram and Milton Jones, it'll be interesting to see in the last 2-3 minutes of this game, does the ball transition back into the hands of King and Outlaw, and which one of those can make the big plays? Right now it's Shea King with 5 straight points.
Well, Outlaw, and there you see them comparison head-to-head up on your screen. Outlaw had been winning that battle handily up until about the past minute. Now Shea King, as Montel Cage couldn't quite get that bucket to fall. Junior out of Ilwaco, California. Going to go to the line instead, where he's an 87% free throw shooter.
Looking like a Scottie Pippen out there.
He does have a little bit of a Pippen look for sure, now that you say that. Oh my God. Washington's Mr. Basketball. Had 29 points and 10 assists as a game and a sophomore last year. He gets that one to go. Has a chance to cut the lead to 4 with one more.
And that's a great, you talk about Cage maybe a little bit overshadowed in the best point guard in the league conversation. 5.9 assists. He's a great distributor, but that was a fantastic job of getting to the paint. You've got a 5-0 run headed the other direction. You've been unable to get anything going, and you quickly just get fouled. You get 2 shots. You slow the pace of the game down. You get buckets on the board. A really great possession right there. And away.
What an answer from New York and from that man, Chance Milton Jones. Falling out tonight. Started strong, continuing strong. And a wild 3-pointer from Outlaw won't go. King's going to try from outside. Can't get it to go either, but gets his own rebound.
Nice
back up and in.
Fantastic job there from King. And, that's what makes a difference in these close games is the extra hustle. And we're seeing right now that's happening just a little bit more for New York compared to West Coast.
Stanley going to try a 3 from the top. Can't make it, and it's a loose ball foul on Ingram. That's his second, and more importantly, it's a lost possession. New York ball going the other way. Chance to go up by 10 now. Really kind of take this game by the throat as we're approaching halfway through the 4th quarter. And look at that. Fantastic dish and a fantastic finish. Yikes. Chance Milton Jones, he's got 20 now. Whew. King defending Outlaw now, and West Coast really needs some points in a hurry.
He left it.
Looks like he may have gotten shaken up a little bit. Was he holding his hand after that one?
Did look like he was holding his hand when he went underneath the hoop.
And once again, a second chance opportunity. This time it's Shea King underneath, rebounds it, puts it back up in. New York is out to a game-high 12-point lead. Darius Outlaw may not be 100%. He's taking this 3 anyway and can't get it to go.
Comes up short with it. Yeah, we talked about a game that was extremely competitive and just a single run can decide it. Well, this has been the late run in the 4th that's really put this one almost out of reach for New York and West Coast Select.
Neither team has been hot from outside this entire game. West Coast ice cold right now, and it's really proving costly. There's another bucket for King, and yeah, you just said it, Marsh, and there it is on your screen. A 17-4 run now for New York.
What was a 1-point game now up to 14. I mean, that's the discipline. That's the options. That is, you have a bad night from your best player, and we give credit to Chance Milton-Jones, but this game flipped when Shea King started hitting back buckets. And this went from a 1-point game to that because Shea King started, hits a 3, gets a couple layups, gets his own miss, follows it up. That is what flipped that game. He had a great assist inside to get Chance Milton-Jones continually going. That has been the difference here in the fourth quarter.
Well, King can't hit that shot. Tight defense from Outlaw, but West Coast needs to get it going here on the offensive end, too. They have gone ice cold in this fourth quarter. Nice move there from Outlaw, and that gets them back on the board, but it only cuts the lead down to a dozen. 2:15 remaining in this one. I don't know if there's enough time for West Coast to claw back into this game.
Problem is they should have been going to that 2 minutes ago. You know, you had the good take by Montel Cage to get to the free throw line, but that was really the only aggressive move that we've seen from them. And now you have only one man underneath when it's both Chance Milton-Jones and SJO. Of course they're going to get that board, and of course Shea King's going to bury another 3 on what has been a fantastic fourth quarter.
King got 2 bites of the 3-point apple on that possession, and the second one went down. 15-point advantage now. Biggest in the game for New York. Nice pass.
Oh, wow.
But Cage can't finish right there.
And
Coming up
we're
on
also
90 seconds to play, and at this point, I think this is pretty close to done and dusted, folks, and I think that bucket there from King may have just put an exclamation point on things. And it's amazing, and it just goes to show you the talent of a player like Shea King. For 3 quarters, had a struggling, terrible game, but has just come alive here in the last few minutes, and he's got to be up on close to 20 at this point, doesn't he?
25, and I think
points.
that's 16 in the fourth. I think he ended with about 9.
Yeah, he wasn't on double digits, so it's at least 16 in this fourth quarter. Amazing. Well, that's been the difference. We have a 17-point advantage for New York right now. And West Coast, placed Darius Outlaw. Good job of keeping Shea King largely under wraps for the first 24 minutes of this game. But these last few, different looking player, different result out there. While here you see some more Chance Milton-Jones highlights as he's continued to dominate inside. King taking control outside, and it looks like Coach Tim Belardi is going to pick up victory number 19, and this one will be a little bit extra sweet as West Coast beating them on this floor earlier in this year, knocking them out of the Stars of Tomorrow tournament was a painful blow.
It was you look at a senior-laden team in New York and a team that relies on juniors with West Coast Select, and you saw that experience having been in these types of situations, being comfortable in tense situations. New York just looked more prepared for the clutch moments of this game, and it's a big reason why they're 19-4. West Coast Select is now going to be 9-8. And Shea King continues to score on anyone in his way.
I would have never predicted this at halftime, but Shea King may get to 30 here. One more 3 would do it. And what had been a close game is going to look like a blowout if you didn't watch and just reading the box score later. But 3 on the way for West Coast. And hey, there you go. Raphael McNeil rattles one in. The senior out of Monterey, California. Brings it down to 81-65, but well over this one. Dawson Speaks picks up the foul. Going to send A.O. Wilson, who did have a nice game off the bench for New York, to the line. Chance to pad his stats a little bit. And there you see Coach Belardi. Well, now Coach Murray on your screen, but Coach Belardi still barking out instructions over there. But he has to be a happy man. Team flew all the way out west, and they're going to go back home with a victory tonight. Wilson, the Staten Island product, lines up the first free throw but can't get it to go.
It's a dangerous team, New York. When they start clicking, there are very few teams. We talked about this isn't the same New York team that West Coast played earlier in the season. SJL wasn't who he was. Chance Milton-Jones wasn't a starter yet. There are very few teams that can sit and run with New York for 32 minutes. West Coast Select did it for about 24, 25, but not all.
Raphael McNeil has just splashed another three. Maybe what Coach Murray needed to do for West Coast was get Raphael McNeil involved a little bit earlier. He's hitting from outside. Way too little, way too late. Slight difference between the game clock and shot clock, so New York will probably try to get a shot up here, and SJO does. Last chance for a bucket for West Coast, but it's only going to be cosmetic if they get it to go. And they do. Dawson Speaks lays it in. But that's going to be your final score, folks. 82-70. Big win for New York. 2 stars of the game for them. Che King coming alive in the fourth quarter and getting it done from outside, and all game long, Chance Milton-Jones banging inside. Nice game for Jay Ingram and West Coast 2, but just didn't quite have enough gas in the tank to stick with them through the full 32 minutes. Glad you stuck with us through the 2 games tonight. Remember, we're coming back tomorrow. Your favorite, my friend Rick Blaze, will be back behind the mic tomorrow, folks, so you got that to look forward to. We're going back to St. Louis for more Gateway Showcase action Wednesday and Thursday. Thanks for being with us.